This is called The Last Show, beginning life as a song, and here presented as a poem. They're closing down the theatre where our love used to play. No audience remains to hear the words still left to say. To them it's just predictable, a rearranged cliché. No one cues for tragedy they've seen a dozen times. No one cues a hero who's forgotten all his lines. The critics are unmerciful to a poet out of rhymes. This has to be the last show. A tragedy of broken hearts, a romance that is no more. A travesty of spoken parts with no chance of an encore. They're bringing down the curtain on the final closing scenes. No one's really listening now to what the writer means. His shooting stars as faded as the patches on his jeans. No courtesy for what was hailed love story of the age. No curtsy from the leading lady lost on centre stage. The wasted spotlight shines upon the last script's final page. This has to be the last show. A tragedy of broken hearts, a romance that is no more. A travesty of spoken parts with no chance of an encore. They're turning on the house lights, though the drama's incomplete. The casting was adventurous, a mistake they won't repeat. Discarded screwed-up tickets join the litter on the street. No makeup can disguise the co-star's latest backstage row. No making up can bring them back out for a final bow. Throw away your programs, the last show's over now. This has to be the last show, a tragedy of broken hearts, a romance that is no more, a travesty of spoken parts, with no chance of an encore. This is called One-Act Play. Wasting my time now with memories of you, pasting your picture in books, nursing my pride now that you've said we're through, rehearsing my injured looks, taking up poses of him who's been hurt, making up faces of pain, learning the one with my nose in the dirt, turning on James's Fire and Rain. It's just a part in a one-act play I adopt. Losing's the name of the game. My faith lies in the fact that it stopped by making you want me again. Spending your evenings recalling the past, ending your days all alone, getting out sad in the role you have cast, getting out nights on your own, staying in touch with the people I know, playing in line with the rules, finding out most of the places I go, dining out only with fools. It's just a part in a one-act play you adopt. Losing's the name of the game. Your faith lies in the fact that it stopped by making me want you again. Acting out roles that we're both forced to play, exacting the tolls of our themes, calling each other with nothing to say, falling apart at the seams. Crying so hard for an actor of parts, trying so hard to be real. Knowing the score when my fracture of heart's showing far more than you feel. They're just parts in a one-act play we adopt. Losing's the name of the game. Our faith lies in the fact that it stopped when we get together again. This next item is a song from 1985, which seems to work as a poem, called Fools and Angels. And so I've learned that I was never meant to be a hero. I climbed and fell. I reached the top, but now I'm back to zero. As time went by, the fabric round your lies kept growing thinner. The talk is cheap. To gamble only makes sense for the winner. And all of the lessons we learn, from the cradle to the bed, won't stop the fool in love from waiting his turn to rush right in where angels fear to tread. If life's a game, we only know we're living when we're losing. To feel we hurt, but pain is never there of our own choosing. The queen just smiles and turns her back as in a game of poker. The king is dead, he's lost his heart and turned into a joker. And all of the lessons we learn, from the cradle to the bed, won't stop the fool in love from waiting his turn to rush right in where angels fear to tread. And angels never play it by the rules, but nobody explains that to the fools. Only fools and angels play the game, but fools will never compromise, and angels never share the blame. This next item was also a song, but perhaps belongs in a poetry collection rather more. It's called Master and Mistress. I was your master, and you were my servant. I courted disaster. Love is blind, not observant. Then you were my mistress, and I was your fool. Resistance is useless when you break every rule. You were my secret, but I was your lie. I couldn't keep it, and you wouldn't try. You made me feel more just by giving me less, and until I was sure I was wrong, I confess. But now you keep your distance, and I just sleep alone. But believe my persistence could still bring you home, where memory of you can still nourish my dream, and the things that we do somehow can't come between. And the lessons of time will remain out of reach, till I'm yours and you're mine, and there's nothing to teach. As your servant I'll wait, as your fool I shall learn, and pray it's not too late by the time you return. As your master I'll try, as my mistress you'll show, there's no hurt in goodbye that's not healed by hello. Finally in this section, this is called Fault First Service. I was living on my own, my place, my space, my home. You were born with a silver spoon, spoon-fed in bread, and soon to be wed to a half-dead chinless wonder. In less time than it takes to tell, I fell under your spell. You gave me a real dressing down as you put on my dressing gown. You told me that I needed a wife, then you simply moved into my life. You were half impressed when I was half undressed, then you half confessed that you were half distressed by what was for you at least a whole new situation. Then we began what was for two at most a kind of hibernation. We lived on the food of love, just what I had looked for. You cooked for me too. I just eat bread and cheese when I'm on my own. But then you went silent, wordless. I heard less than when I lived alone. You changed my self-catering home to your dumb-waitering zone. It serves me right. I should serve myself. I can't receive gracefully. It takes a certain kind of person to be served to. I don't deserve to be. It's not that easy to give, but it's that much harder to take. It seems to imply that you need, and that's a weakness indeed, but that's a mistake. If someone wants to give, and you can't or just won't let them, you take from them the chance to live, and in the end you get them just as hurt and just as wounded, I suppose, as if you only take. That's how it goes. And so I learned to take your service instead of trying to break your serve, and you returned to make the play, which was more than I deserve. Now we've got a second chance to win the game, a truce. It was my mistake. Now it's give and take. Advantage, server, deuce.